Hi, John.
Hello. Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. I'm just really excited to be here. I want you to know that underneath
Yes.
this hoodie, I am wearing my Two Red Dad shirt.
Oh, are you?
However, I realized that it's a little tight on John, and it's also cold in my basement, 67 degrees down here, and so I got to wear the hoodie.
That's fine. I got like 3 layers on, and I don't have on the shirt.
All right.
So there's no judgment about
All right.
clothing today
Phew.
on my side. I don't know about you.
Okay. None over here.
I'm glad you're wearing it. However, what I want to know is, do you need a smaller one? You don't need a smaller one. Do you need a larger one? Was this
No, it's
seasonally not fitting
This does
you?
not need to be t-shirt talk. It's just that I'm kind of in between the size of this fit, and so I think a large would be too big.
Got it. Okay. Cool.
Okay, cool, really cool.
You're nervous. Why are you nervous?
Well, just because I didn't think you were going to show up.
What are you talking about? As
Yeah.
far as everyone is aware, I was here 20 minutes ago, like I could have been.
Right. I am hearing that a certain Eric Creech might be listening in at home, so we might have
No, he's not.
one viewer.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
It's exciting.
Let's see how quickly we can lose him.
Yeah.
Any other things you're nervous about?
I mean, there's plenty. I just was gonna be a little funny towards you and have nervous dad about you not showing up. Spotify crapped or
Doesn't it
capped.
feel like I turned it more on you than you turned it on me? Like it feels like I'm teasing you more than you are teasing me about you being
It's true.
nervous.
It's true.
That might mean that you're bad at teasing people.
Ugh. No one's ever said that before.
I don't know. I'm sorry. Yeah, Spotify craps. Do you have a Spotify account? Do you listen to music through Spotify?
I'm in the Apple ecosystem. I have Apple Music just because of that fact, and so I have used Spotify, but not usually.
Are you familiar with Spotify Wrapped thing that they do every year?
Yeah, this is a fun little thing to show you maybe some of your most listened to tracks and
Yeah.
other stupid things.
I feel like I've seen in the past years I've seen people say things like be sassy about how Spotify is totally spying on you and creeping on you and then making you think that it's fun. But that always bothers me because it's the terms and conditions. Like I'm using this service, they can do whatever the fuck they want with my
Right.
viewership, and
Right.
also I'm not expecting they're not spying on me. Like, it's
They
not
just
like I
look up
don't
my
know that
record
they
in the
know what I'm
database.
listening to.
Yeah.
Right, and I want them to be able to recommend things. So, anyways, this year the hot talk is about how it was really boring. It was like they mailed it in. Lots of things missing that have been there in the past, or things missing that have been there in the past. I saw a couple of posts on B-Ski, as we're calling it.
Yeah.
Hey, holy shit, we have a comment.
We have a comment. Can we just stop the show real quick and say that we have a comment from our pal Eric,
Hey,
who
Eric.
who works at Expedia, and in the context of Spotify Wrapped, he's wondering why there isn't a Expedia Wrapped where we can talk about where we would be able to know how many maybe miles traveled or maybe hotel nights booked, etc.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to my Expedia Wrapped.
I feel like mine would be really disappointing. I took like 2-3 trips. They were all for work. I know what they were.
Wait a minute.
Um,
You didn't travel for any runs?
I drove to Iowa. I could have booked a hotel through Expedia. I didn't. I'm sorry, Eric. Wait, I don't think it sounds like he doesn't work there anyways.
Eric works Expedia.
He does. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It sounded like this was a suggestion in the past, and that they finally started doing it.
No.
Okay. Yes, I'm sorry, Eric. I did not book my hotels through Expedia. Yeah, I mean, that's really all I did.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm sure that there was I went to New York this year with my family.
Yeah.
Probably did some other things here and there, I don't know. So Spotify wrapped them mailing it in. I saw a post on Bski that was like from a dude who used to work at Spotify who was like, yeah, you know what happened? Is basically they fired all of the people who do like genre research. And so there's no one like to make the data or to like connect the data. And so what you're seeing is really, you know, a company that has that like is just like cutting things left and right, and so the things that you loved are now trash. It's late stage capitalism at its best.
Yeah, I think so.
Anyways,
Did
I
you
totally
get one?
screwed my spot. Yes, I did get one, and I totally
Okay.
screwed up. That's why I say crapped. Not because I think Spotify's Wrapped is bad, but because I sabotaged my own by finding an ambient artist that I very, very, very much like for falling asleep to. It is like I've always loved ambient music like a lot, especially for like like taking a nap. Now I'm at a point where like I really don't go to bed without putting my earbuds in and falling asleep to this artist Loscil, spelled Loscil.
Okay.
But it's every single night.
Yeah,
John.
yeah, yeah.
So I sabotaged my numbers, and I knew I was doing it. And I knew that I had seen that there was a way to basically like check a box on the artist and say like, don't count this towards my Spotify Wrapped numbers. But I didn't care because I was kind of curious, like how bad is this going to look and what is it really going to do? And it did all the things that we knew it would do. Like that was my number one artist by a long shot. It was all my top 5 songs. Everything else was just kind of like an afterthought. So I don't know why I experimented with it. Next year I'll turn them off.
Yeah, this reminds me of how when I'm looking through the recommendations on Apple Music and I see Kids Bop show up in there, I just like, oh, God damn it, Jack. Because that's his fault.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, it was when the Frozen album came out, or the Frozen movie came out. That was like 2 years of the only thing that showed up. Does Apple Music do anything like this?
I don't think so. I just like open the music app, I hit play on the thing I want to listen to, and off I go.
Yeah.
Isn't the Wrapped like an email or something that you get? Is it in the app experience?
It's in the app, yeah. Like
okay.
There's like a, I don't know, little like feature, little ad that they show you that says
it's like in-app
"Your
marketing.
Wrapped is here." Yeah. I don't really know what it's doing. Whatever. It's in the app. It's really slow, like it lags. I mean, maybe not for everybody, but
Well, they fired the whole team. Of course,
7.
it's laggy.
Yeah. That's what I got. There is a centipede, right in front of me, right there. It's great.
Oh, we got an answer from Eric that they do something like this. Oh, I think I and you both
We
hit
both clicked
show
it at the same time.
Yeah, that there is something like this, but it's more of like a playlist. Not as much of that's right, because you do see like a playlist per year, and you can kind of see what's been in your heavy rotation or whatever. But it's not like I think that Wrapped thing is supposed to be a little more fun than just like a playlist. Doesn't it have like more features than just like what you listen to the most often?
Can you repeat that? My headphones made a sound right as you said it.
I was just wondering if Spotify Wrapped has a little bit more than just like what you've listened to the most often, or like it's more than just a playlist, isn't it?
Well, so that's what people are complaining about, is that it's not what it has been in the past.
Got it.
You basically get to see this year. You get to see your top artists, your top 5 artists, your top 5 songs, and then they do a thing where it's like, let's give you Spotify does this thing where they give genres funny names, which is really kind of neat. Like they're like really weird names, very niche, like based on what you're listening to, and very accurate also, I find. But they did like this kind of walk through time, like let's see what you were listening to at these 3 or 4 different times of the year.
Interesting.
Which is cool. And then beyond that, they give you the opportunity to like share that.
Mm.
Oh, they give you a percentage number. Like you are in the top 0.5% of 0.05% of all listeners of the artist Lost Goal, which I think is intended to make you feel really, really cool. And sometimes they'll have like I had the band Pavement. That was my number 5 artist. I had one of the members of Pavement came on and was like, "Hey everybody, thanks for listening to us," and said something stupid. And so like I think that these things are intended to make you feel special, but for me it always lands as like, oh my god, they're getting $3 from me for all of these listens. I should buy their music instead of like funding this Spotify CEO. I'm a horrible person.
Got it. But isn't that just maybe a byproduct of your guilt-driven
Yeah,
lifestyle?
Yeah. Yes, that was a post that I had on Blue Sky recently. It was about, yes, basically every decision I make in life is based on shame and guilt. They used to do a playlist. Like maybe I'm still waiting. Maybe there will be a playlist of my top songs or artists. So it's cool to see that in Apple Music. Like that, I think is the most beneficial thing to come out of this, because you can go back and listen to all the hits, right?
Right. Isn't there like a thing? This is reminding me of a phenomena in AI or these chat GPT LLMs where they can't take text after a certain time because maybe some of that text was generated by chat GPT. And so there's this like downward spiral in chat GPT or LLMs of like, you can't train on your own produced content. And it's making me think of like these wrapped playlists causing then the next year's playlist to be the same thing. And you just,
Right. Yeah. Creates like kind of some sort of like echo type of situation. Yeah, probably. I mean, I think they just want people to be excited about using their product, and they want to hit their OKRs.
and if you share it, maybe we'll get more subscribers.
Yes, absolutely. Yep.
All right. Well,
okay.
Speaking of more subscribers, should we try to program some computers?
I thought we were going to try to lose Eric as quickly as possible. We failed. Yeah, let's do that. So I offered up the ability for you to drive today. You declined, which
You
I
got it.
respect. But I do want to just like, I think that's something we should talk about for maybe next time is like, do you want to drive on this project? Because this is one where like it's kind of, it's in my brain what I want it to do, but it's definitely something that you can drive. And we have a repo here that is pushed up. So if you want to before the next time, you're welcome to. If you don't, if you just want to kind of like tag along, that's fine too. I just want to make sure that we're not in a situation where you're bored because you're just watching me code every time.
I think we're still in the zone of how can we fit kind of like what you want to do with like what Raycast extensions can do.
Yeah, exactly.
Or like we're still trying to figure out like what we're making exactly.
Yeah.
And so I think until we kind of get there, it just makes the most sense for you to drive so that we can kind of work through the different ways Raycast extensions kind of meet you where you're trying to be. And once we like are just coding, I'm more happy to drive.
Okay, that sounds good. So let's look at where we're at from the last time we hung out. Let me figure out how to use my computer. Oh, I need to find my... I had this all set up, and then I screwed it up. What did I do, John?
Hey, do you have like a print hanging up on the wall to your left or right?
I have a couple of them.
Is that new?
Give me 1 second to find you again.
Okay, sorry.
Oh, look it. We did it. Did it. 15 minutes. That's what I expected. Thanks for hanging, Eric.
We're doing great. Thanks, Eric.
See you later. Print. So there's this one.
Yeah.
Have you seen that one? And I just added one last night over here.
Ooh, nice.
Leads. This one turned out total shit. Total garbage. Not happy about it. This one turned out great. It's really hard to point like that.
But also, isn't there a poster or like there's some wall hanging on your wall? Like there's something.
Over here?
Yeah,
Over here?
I haven't seen something over there before. Has it?
Hey, you know what has changed? That's rather significant.
Oh, nice.
All right, do you want to know why this is there?
You got a new webcam?
No.
Hmm.
I got to do something else. Let's go this way.
What's happening?
I can't rotate it far enough. My utility boxes are back there.
Oh.
Um, and when they redid the basement, we were like, we kind of want to cover this. They're like, I don't know, man, put a picture over it. so that's what we did, because it's just open with the big circuit breaker boxes.
Got it.
Anyways, that's been there. What changed is that I got a new desk, actually. And so everything's kind of like repositioned a little bit, and so you're probably seeing a little bit more off to that side. I think I moved everything a little bit this way, further against the wall.
Got it.
I'm not going to show you my art. We'll do that another time.
Yep.
Let's do some programming of computers. Okay,
Yes.
so I have this project here that is called GoTo. In reality, I'm going to make this bigger.
Didn't share your screen yet.
That explains it. Thank you. Entire screen. I want that one. How about now?
I can see it, and it looks great.
Great, thank you. Okay, so I have a note here for what we're going to be doing today, which is great. We'll come back to that. This is a project named GoTo. However, if I actually look at my terminal and I do... where are you, cursor? I don't know where the cursor was there. It's actually named in GitHub GoTo Raycast Better. Just if anyone wants to find it.
And this is open source, correct?
It's open source. I have like 7 projects named GoTo, or like flavors of GoTo, and this is just the most recent one.
Yeah.
So it's now called this. Okay, so let's. I think I need to kill this window because it's not doing anything.
Okay.
Let's just run this Raycast thing, which I can't remember. What do we call it? How do we run this thing? There's a script in here, right? Scripts. Dev. We call it dev. npm run dev. Okay, so I have this GoTo Raycast Better right here. And what we have it doing is if you remember, we have 2 different text boxes that are stuck in here. So we can say, where do you want to go? And I would say the bathroom. And then who's your daddy and what does he do? And I would say, I don't know. And then hit those. And now we have in the console, we're logging basically like the 2 different things that we're passing in there. A subcode and a code. And if we look at the actual index TSX here, we can see there we're taking it in as arguments. What are these routes? Oh, the routes are the different things that, like, I don't know if you saw, but when I went back here, then it came up with a new menu that had these 2 things. So we're dynamically rendering these based on hard-coded list. But the reason I wanted to show here was why. Oh, I wanted to find where does subcode and code come from, and I think those came from actually the package JSON. If I look for subcode, yeah, I have it in here. Under commands, this is like where we do all of our configuration for the Raycast extension.
Yes.
And we tell it that there are 2 arguments that it can have. One of them is a code, and one of them is a subcode. And so then those are those 2 boxes, and then when it actually calls that index.tsx command, it gets passed in as props. And so then we're seeing those logged to the console. Does that make sense? Does that refresh
I'm with
your
you.
memory?
Yep, I'm totally with you.
Okay. Okay, so here was my complaint at the very, very last minute of our last hang. My complaint was, well, let me show you what I do now. this is my current go-to extension, which is really just I think Raycast calls it a script command. Yes, it does. It's right there on the right. Which like basically just parses what I pass in as the shortcode and interprets it. So when I do GH space PRs, that takes me to GitHub. But if I have many options within GitHub. I can go to GH Docs. I can go to GH Polls. I can go to GH PRs. I can go to what else? GH Me. That'll take me to my GitHub page. So I kind of think of as GH as like this top level command that opens up a whole bunch of other possibilities for me to go to enter into. Now, there's no IntelliSense, no autocomplete here, which is unfortunate. And is actually one of the big reasons that I want to rewrite this Raycast extension. But this is kind of the pattern that I use, or this is how my brain works when I want to do this thing. Is like, oh, I want to go to GitHub, and I want to go to this thing within GitHub, or I want to go to Google and I want to search for Buttercup on Google. So there's kind of like almost like the top level is almost like a verb, or like if you think of like a CLI that you would write, it's almost like that top level one is like the thing and the resource, and then the next thing is like more like the action. Like I more specifically want to go directly there, and that can vary. Like I can do GH Docs polls. There's different. There's an indeterminate depth to it. Like not only can I just go to GH Docs, I can also go to polls within Docs, and that should take me to github.com/communda-docs/polls. All that said, what I'm trying to say is this where I have two hard-coded commands in here, I don't think aligns with what I want to be doing. Two things. For starters, I don't know how many boxes are going to be here, and I won't really know until I type the first one. So this would be fine if I was doing this. The second thing is there's no autocomplete here, like there would be here, which is really, really nice. So I'd like to kind of tap into that autocomplete. In my head, what I envision is I would start here. I would start basically on this list and be able to whittle it down to like, oh, I want Google. And then some kind of keystroke from here brings up more like this interface where now I can give it an argument. Does that make sense to you, what I just said? And do you have any questions or comments?
So still kind of pondering what you're saying and wondering how Raycast extensions could meet that need. So is GitHub the most complicated one with the most?
It probably is, yeah.
It
has the largest network of things that I can do. Yeah.
The most nesting. So,
yep.
GH space docs space polls. So what if GH was the command, and then you
we talked about this at the very
here.
end. Like, is what we're talking about that I actually have multiple commands. Like GH is a command, Google is a command, etc. All those different things are commands. I think that is I think a potential workaround. What I would like to know, that you may know the answer to, is there a world, or is there some sort of feature inside of this where once I'm here and I pick one of these, can I then get an interface that accepts an argument?
This is a good question, and I'm not sure.
Or even better, can I select this and oops, that made your face disappear. Can I select that and have it open up a second list just like this? Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So like now, if once I select GH, now I've got a list just like this that has docs and me and anything else that would be in there.
One more thought I had was, what if this had a list of GH space docs, GH space docs, space polls,
Right. So like
GH.
all of those things. That's totally reasonable too. Yeah, actually, I think I actually like that as a workaround better than having a command for each one of these different kind of like resources. I'm gonna call these things. I'm gonna call them at this level resources, and then at the next level down, it's gonna be like verbs or something.
So what these are list items, correct?
Yes. Right now, these are list items. That
And then the action panel is always a single thing that opens in browser some route.
yeah.
So another thought I'm having is, could a particular list item be GH docs? And then if you click it or you pick it, then you go to, a github.com URL. If you do command enter on it, you go to that thing, but the polls. If you do command one on it or something, then you
Right.
go to the issues or anyway. So like
So
maybe
each one of the
the
leads.
GitHub repo is the list item and its action panel is go to the repo, go to the issues, go to the polls, whatever. Just a thought.
Yeah, it's good. It's interesting. I kind of want to write some of these ideas down. So John's thoughts is GH are GH and Google each their own command. That's kind of, I think of this as the least favorable workaround that we've talked about. The other one that you had was, can we list GH docs, GH me,
Right.
GH docs polls, all those things as list items.
Right.
And then let me think. This feels better than the one above, but still, but cluttered, noisy. Because I imagine, like, when I first open that thing up, I'm going to see all of those things. Do you know what I mean? The other thing it doesn't account for, which we haven't really talked about, is what about wildcards? So, what about, like,
Totally.
so, like, GH me, what did I call this thing? Better Raycast, or go to better
Go
Raycast.
to Raycast better.
Thank you. I don't want to define every single repo in my org. I want to be able to just audible something. We really haven't talked about that use case. Like, this maybe not something we really use to define how we're going to do things quite yet. But maybe it is. So then, I think if I can try to define what I'm looking for, how I envision this, I think it's more like, can GH open a new list of docs, me, and some way for me to enter literally anything, whatever. And let's just leave it at this: docs and me. I was trying to solve that wildcard problem right away too, but let's not do that. Do you know what I mean? So from a code perspective, like my immediate thought is, and I think we maybe looked at this last time, but I can't remember. Can I put another list inside? of
Right.
here?
Or like, can you like navigate to a sub list or something?
Yeah. So I just really want to quick try this and see what this does. List.item icon equals whatever .png.
There is in the docs a thing called navigation. Use navigation, a hook that lets you push and pop view components in the navigation stack. I wish they had like, they've got like code examples. I want like user interface examples or like which like built-in Raycast extensions do this.
Right. Okay, who's bad at React? It's me. What is this clown doing over here? Okay, so it did compile. Oops.
Weird.
So let's just real quick go to boom, GH. Yeah. So if I select that, it actually doesn't take me anywhere, and it gives me an exception, which is list.item does not accept any children, ignoring array list. That seems like I maybe effed up this list item. Forget rid of actions.
I mean,
message
the
makes me feel like it's something wrong.
the description of the actions prop is an action panel that will be updated for the selected list item.
What I'm doing does not seem to work, for what it's worth.
Yeah.
I can't make that in actions. Okay, so you're saying.
Oh, something else I just bumped into. I mean, we're still spitballing, you know, like we're still kind of
for sure.
working it out. And one thing that you were describing was wildcards. And I remembered that there's this prop on list item called keywords, an optional property used for providing additional indexable strings for search. When filtering the list in Raycast through the search bar, the keywords will be searched in addition to the title. So I'm wondering if there's a way to populate that with a wildcard or to populate that with, I don't know. I don't know yet. Still pondering.
So let's just throw something in there. So I'm gonna back this out to where we were, where it didn't totally suck. Okay, so I was here. So you're saying, can we put some keywords in here, which are an array of strings, which includes docs and me, perhaps?
Well, but it needs to be different for each item in the array.
Oh,
So
right,
I think
right,
we're
right, right.
mapping right now, correct?
Yep, we are mapping.
So could we go up to your object that we're mapping through and
add some
add
keywords on
keywords to one of them that include, you know, that better thing? Or yeah, docs me, whatever.
Okay, let's. I don't want to deal with like null
Empty array.
situations.
Yeah.
So yeah, empty array. This is equal to route.keywords. Okay, so that built. Let's pull open this goto thing. And let's say, what did I say? It was docs. So when I type docs, it comes up as basically, like the keywords are alternate things for me to search for.
Synonyms, yeah.
Cinnamon.
But it's not like if you were to invoke GH that it would know which keyword you had typed
Really?
that caused it to show up.
I'm surprised to not see a console log here. Oh, that's because it's the entry, not the
That's on
actual
render.
action.
Yeah.
Okay. Um,
I mean, so far for me, the thing that's the most interesting is, well, I want to know more about navigation. So if you go back to the docs,
yeah.
a sibling of list in that UI area, like on the left-hand side, sibling of list is navigation all the way at the end there. I want to know more about this. Because this could be like type GH, that one's picked, hit enter on it or do something to cause it to slide in another one. That's what I think it might mean.
Yeah, this is interesting. Okay. Okay, so there is something here that also I don't really understand or know much about. A hook that lets you push and pop view components in the navigation stack. You most likely won't use it to push a new component. Use the push action. That sounds like it's a different thing, not a specific type of this thing that I'm doing.
Oh yeah.
Right. So in my action panel, am I actually going to push? So like here it pushes.
Let's try this. Let's try to do this.
Okay. So let's just grab this kind of as is,
Yeah.
a little bit one at a time. So I'm gonna grab this little guy right here. We'll include him as a Pong. I think I need to import detail.
Maybe.
And then, go
It's the
ahead.
red squiggle under Pong. Is it
It's not used.
exported?
It's declared but never read.
We will use it shortly, right? Because we're gonna
will
like
use
reference it. Got it.
We're gonna grab it right here. So it's gonna be under. Oh, what?
That needs to go in your action
I
panel.
just very quickly noticed that this says Markdown. I don't know. Does that mean that I have the ability to use Markdown to render all these things?
What would that be?
Interesting. Okay, so let's get rid of this action then, and let's make it this. And this is. I'm gonna leave it just like this.
Okay.
I think what I expect to happen is that when I select GH, it's going to then just show this detail markdown equals Pong. That's my hope. I think if that is the case, I think we're onto something. Okay. Struggling to find it's because it's not in there. It's in here. Go to, and then let's do GH, and it goes to Pong. Cool.
Now, Pong is. Can I see the definition of Pong again?
Yeah. It's a different thing than what we're dealing with.
But there's no reason it couldn't be another list, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. So like, let's make it list. I don't actually remember. Is there anything I need to put on that? Nope. And then let's do just some simple list items, hard coded for right now.
Sure. Proving out the idea.
And actually, I want to grab one other thing, and that is this line right here.
Yeah.
So that it goes somewhere. Okay. So we're gonna have a list. John, I'm so convinced that this is what we're looking for. All right, we'll use that in a second, and then I also want to grab from my clipboard here. Okay, so list item. I don't really care. We're gonna call the title. I don't know. What's your favorite word? Who do you think is going to be your number one artist when you get your Apple Music playlist?
Oh man, it's probably gonna be Wind Hand again. I listen to that band a lot.
Wind Hands?
Mm-hmm.
Did I spell that correct?
You did.
Is there anything like 3 W's, 4 W's?
Nope.
Like some weird glyphs in it? It sounds like they're.
No, you spelled it right.
Okay. Keywords. I don't need keywords
Skip
right
it.
now. All I want is my action panel. I want to open in the browser.
Boom.
Get rid of this one.
Boom.
And let's say, goodness, who cares right now? Let's just make it go.
Just needs a value.
Google.com.
Yep.
Title is. Oops. Title is.
Foo.
This is it. Why doesn't it like that? Prefer title case.
What?
Oh my god.
Get the fuck out of here.
This is it. Great.
It's like, you know what then? Format it for me.
Right.
All right, this might
Okay.
work.
Did I do anything stupid like rename it to something different? Nope. I still am
I
pushing
think it's
the
right.
Pong. I am pushing the Pong. All right. Go to, and then we're like, okay, let's go to GH. Oh, we get WinHand. That's what I'm looking for. And then let's go to that. The application can't be opened. What did I do wrong there? It's probably.
Oh, that's got to be like https://www.google.com.
Could not open app, but look at this error.
What?
Again, I don't see anything that says this is a poorly formed URL.
Just try it.
I know. All right. Okay.
You don't buy it.
No, I do. I do agree. I think that's a really crap error message. There, WinHand. Boom. You didn't see it. It opened down here.
Hey.
John, we did it. This is what we need to do. This is exactly what I'm looking for, I think. I think this is what I want to do.
Now, if memory serves,
worried.
at some point you showed me a previous iteration of this. Maybe it was that script command where you almost had like detailed out in like a JavaScript object, like all the commands and subcommands. Is there a way to adapt that for this new idea of it?
I think there totally is. Like that I think that's my dream. This is what you're talking about. I had this URL map, I called it, where if we look at GH is definitely the more complicated one. There's these kind of special wildcard rules, like if you don't give me any arguments, I take you directly to github.com. If you give me one argument, I take you to the commune.org with that one repo, because that's where I go the most. And if you give me two, then it's like that repo with whatever page, so polls or issues or whatever. And then some other things here.
We might still not
All these
quite
different things
have.
from me and docs. Yeah.
We maybe still haven't quite landed on how to deal with wildcards, but I think we're
Yeah,
on
I
the right
agree.
track.
I think so too. So I think so if we were to take everything that we had in there that was known ahead of time, I think every level of that tree is a different action.push with a list in it that can be generated by that level of the tree. Anything that is known can be generated with this action open browser. But then, yes, what do we do with are there list items that we don't know the name of? How do we represent that? But I think that this is, do you think that is potentially going to block us? Do you think that that's worth figuring out?
My instinct is we'll figure that out.
Let's take
but I could be wrong.
30 seconds to just see if there's anything in, because we'll be rendering a list. I wonder if there's any sort of list MP view and no items available. Anything in here about like unknown items or kind of bonus items or something. Kind of doesn't. I don't see anything offhand. What is the be like free text or I don't see anything here, but I think we can find some sort of workaround for it, or potentially something else in the future. I don't think it's going to block us. I think that I can probably try to be a little bit flexible with that side of it too. Let my brain be a little flexible.
Another thing you could do is
Sorry.
Oh,
I didn't zoom in these docs.
I'm just thinking, like, what else can we do with that action push? Could we push something in that has like a field you can type in that is the wild card that gets sent as an argument?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Yeah.
It seems like everything's listed here. All the different types are listed here. because there is list here and there is action panel and detail form, perhaps. Perhaps we could stick a form in there. Uh, but again, we need a list item that you are able to get to in order to pull this up.
I mean, you might have to like type wildcard to get to a place where you can then, or like type asterisk, and then that is the thing. Yeah.
That breaks it out. Okay, yeah, let's not worry about that right now. Let's kind of focus on maybe what we can do is we can go back to here, and I'm actually gonna make kind of a whip commit here.
Okay.
Just because I feel like things are not in a horrible condition right now. Let's get rid of these keywords though. We don't need those. Okay, so I just want to say, let's say git commit with the message, show a new list at the next level of the tree. And then, I switched my node version. I'm not dealing with this pair stuff right now. I'm sorry, you're not getting credit for this.
It's all good.
I mean,
I've thoughts.
I never
about
remember
this too.
what it is. It's like, oh, go ahead. What are your thoughts?
No, just that I kind of regret distributing pair in this way, and
Not like homebrew or something.
right. Basically, if it's an executable that's outside of your, your NVM or your Ruby version manager, like whatever like if it's language agnostic, and it's like it should be a little different, I think.
Yeah. Oops, that's not right. Pair current add. Pair amend. Okay, that didn't take too long. All you had to do was talk about how much you hate it, and I was able to get it done in that amount of time. Okay, pushing that up. All right, so let's just do a little bit of cleanup here, because I know we named this thing Pong, and that doesn't even make sense.
Right.
So let's jump into.
It's also always rendering Pong, whether you pick GH or GitHub or Google.
Totally. Okay, so let's see how can we do this? So we know that I'm going to have a GH and I'm going to have a Google, and inside of here I know that I'm going to have more routes.
Okay.
And they're going to be docs. Oops, sorry. They're going to be objects. So is it objects or is it an object? Whatever, let's just do these for now.
I think it's an array of object.
Docs, and the URL for that is going to be https github.com/Camunda docs. And then I also know that I'm going to have something similar, but this is going to be me. And this is just going to take me to my org, whatever, my user. And I know that this isn't all fleshed out, and like there's a whole bunch more options to this, but like let's just see if we can get this generated. Okay, so for my command, I loop through. I'm gonna actually put this up next to me so that I can keep this list up while we are working. Okay, so I am going to iterate through the top level routes, and for each one, let's make this simple for myself and say that this has routes empty array, so that I don't break things. So for each route, I'm going to emit a list item that...
Why don't we extract a local inside of the map for each item and call that local actions, and then we can check the length of the route.routes, and when it is greater than 0, then we can do this push thing. You know what I'm trying to get at?
I think what you're saying is if routes dot
length.
I got lost for a second here.
So on 29, incoming in our map is this GH or Google object. And then on 30, we destructure out either a array of docs and me or an empty array for Google. So when the route's length is greater than 0, then we're going to...
Oh, we have to do something when... Got it. Okay. Yes. Okay, so here... Sorry, I interrupted. Continue talking, please.
I was going to, inside of that... This is fine too, but I was going to actually extract 38 actions into there and then do the conditional and then feed in the actions. Let me try this again.
What am I doing with this from 38?
Can we back up a little bit? I
Yeah.
got a little ahead of myself there.
Okay. Do you want to be here?
Yes, this is great. So let's comment out 31.
Okay. We're not testing the length yet.
Not quite yet. I think first we need to extract a local. We don't even need that yet. I think first what we should do is extract what's happening on 38. Because like sometimes we want to give it, sometimes we want to give it an action panel with a push. Sometimes we want to just go to google.com.
Right.
So you could say like const actions equal.
Oops. Back up to there.
Totally.
So now I have defined that child action.
And then that goes into the actions key.
Child. So let's call it child action. Probably could have done that more smoothly. Okay.
So now it's like I want to set this const based on the length of routes. And when the length is greater than 0, we want to render Pong. And when it's less than 0, we want to just render the action open in browser. You know what I'm saying?
I do. So actually, I think what I want is I want to start with. I'm now thinking about. I'm thinking about least amount of code to write this switch or this condition. But maybe what we want is we just want to let child action, and then we want to say if routes.length is equal to 0, then we'll say child action is equal to this down here.
Mm-hmm.
And then
it'd be like
else.
Yeah.
This gets kind of messy right here, but I think that's roughly it. I saved it and it formatted, so I kind of got it. Okay, so now we can go back and let's change a couple of these arguments to align with what is reality. The URL is actually going to be the
route.url.
Route.url, thank you. And the title is probably still route.name.
Nice.
Or no, because that's the child one. Route.code.
Oh, code.
Probably some improvements we can make there, but whatever. And then...
Sorry, one more thing I'm noticing. 31 probably shouldn't be if routes.length. It should probably be like if route.routes.length.
Thank you. I had that.
I think you had destructured that at some point.
I destructured it before, yeah.
And then we were actually shadowing a global, but that's better.
Okay. And so now this other one, what we actually want to do is we'll leave it as push pong for now, and then let's see if this actually works, and then let's switch it over to use the data that we have for that one. Does that sound good?
Yes.
Okay. So so Google should just open. It did just open. Yes. You can't see it. It opened right here. It was great. I loved it. And then if I do GH, now I see the win hand option. And I'm not going to hit that because I know it's going to open, but... Okay. Let's just stage
Commit?
everything.
Yeah.
And then we can say... what is this?
Conditionally render actions? Or conditionally render sub-actions or sub-routes, or I don't know. Nice.
Love it. Okay. We've got 4 minutes. I think we can switch this over to be more useful in that amount of time. So child action, let's extract this and say child action is going to be we'll do something completely different. Or no, we can action dot push. Target is going to be, first of all, let's change the name from Pong to child actions.
Nice.
Just for fun. And then we're going to need some props in here.
Yep.
And here we're going to need just the routes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then routes is equal to route.routes. Title is not right. Let's change this to be title code. Sorry, route.code. And then in here, actually, this should still work, right? We're just not using the arguments yet.
Right.
Which is what I wanted to see. Okay. So now that we have routes, what we actually want is, in addition to list, we want to, I'm going to just copy this little map right here.
That's right.
Map, and for each route, then we're going to do a list item. Let me close this out properly.
I think you need a return.
Thank you. Return. And then return there. I'm just going to save this to get it formatted. Okay, so now for this one, the icon, that's fine. The title is going to be route dot
Name, we called it. Yeah.
And then open in browser, the URL is route.url, and the title is route.name. Let's see if you can complain about title case there. Okay. I think that's what we're
I think it's going to work.
I think so too. So if I do now I do Google, that still opens in a browser that you can't see, just trust me. Actually, you know what?
It's fine.
Because you're going to have to trust me when I do this next one, which is GH and then docs and me.
Boom.
So we get one of each. So let's go to me, and we get my page right there. So that's great. Love it. This is so good, John. I love this. It really
It
came
took us a little while to get
at the
there,
end.
but
Yeah. Okay.
I think it's just going to end up being like a little bit of recursiveness around like rendering lists of lists and sub
For
lists,
sure.
and like getting your data structure the way you like it, so that it produces that navigation hierarchy.
Yes. I forgot to amend the previous one. You're going to be okay.
I want to be fine.
Okay. This is so cool. It really came together right at the end. I'm super excited about where this is headed. I think now we're kind of at a point where we like really smooth out that translation between what is that data structure and then how are the lists rendering themselves. So that's going to be where we head.
And I think that we could like make this tool useful and possibly better than the one you use today.
Oh, hands
even
down.
if we didn't quite solve the wildcard thing.
Yeah, I think so too. Yep. Yeah, I think, I was thinking about it. I was wondering, I also wonder about like action panels. Like, is there some other way that I can some other action that I can say like, oh, you hit command something and it'll pull up a whatever to get you there? Whatever. We will figure that out. And I think we're done. I feel like, I feel like it just like all happened really, really quickly. So
awesome.
I'm a little bit of a whirlwind right now. But.
Well, thanks to our second ever live viewer, Eric, for dropping by. Thank you to Steve and the Raycast family for sponsoring our stream. And we'll see you next time. Smash that like and
Don't
subscribe
forget
button.
Spotify Wrapped for their sponsorship. All right,
Okay,
John.
love you.
Love you too.